Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. And spring seems to have finally arrived in the UK. Instead of having just complete cloud, we've now got cloud with bursts of sunshine as well. And while it's heating up outside, it is also still hot on the World of Tanks battlefield. Today I'm going to be playing in a vehicle, which if you're a regular around here doesn't really need too much of an introduction. It is the Progetto 46. This is the Tier 8 Italian premium medium tank, and if you're an advanced player and you know how to handle an auto reloader, I think it's definitely got to be one of, if not the best, Tier 8 medium tanks that is available either premium or inside the tech tree in World of Tanks. Now the eagle-eyed of you might be immediately noticing, hold on, why is your account name no longer QuickFingers? And that's because I decided to change, no I didn't decide to change it. The detectives of you out there might also notice that my ping is a little higher than usual today. I'm getting 80, 90, sometimes 100 ping. We put one and one together and you'll realize that today we are playing on the North American server. Will it be an absolute zoo, or will it be a place where we can really start to put ourselves to the test? Look, I'm not going to be talking about that today. It's going to be very much focused on the battle at hand and why later on in this battle we're going to have to make the final stand of the QuickyBaby. Alright, so whenever I play on the NA server, I always definitely notice the increase in ping initially. But after a while, and you start to deal with it, it's not too much of a big deal. I know a lot of you out there will be immediately going, "Pah! QB's complaining about 80, 90, 100 ping. I play with 300 every single day." And yeah, I'm also playing World of Tanks with my feet and everything like that. Look. By the way, I just got to say, that was an incredibly lucky magazine against that FE4-202. I wasn't actually expecting to take them out with that. I was expecting the FE4-202 to have to finish them off. But I rolled for 276, 278, 274, and 247. I really didn't think that the final shell was going to be a high roll as well. But yeah, once I've been playing with 100 ping for a while, it's not actually too bad. I think the worst thing is when you have inconsistent ping, or you have some loss of packets, and so your shells just don't seem to really actually be leaving the tank, or sometimes even going through the enemy vehicles with those notorious ghost shells in World of Tanks. But I feel that consistent ping is better than sometimes low, sometimes high ping, because you just have to adjust for it. You have to give slightly more lead when you're firing at a decent distance compared to if you had a lower ping. And consistency is key. And it's always amazing to me that you can play on a server that is located half a world away and still have, like, I guess that's going to be a 1/10 of a second connection time to it. Wow, amazing. Bewildering stuff, right? Mind blown. Okay, look, enough about ping, enough about the NA server. Let's focus on the task at hand. And that is, we've got ourselves in a tricky situation here against the Centurion 5-1. They actually managed to hit us underneath the vehicle. And while we put our first shell in, we quickly repair our ammo rack, and we tried to put a second one in, but the Centurion 5-1 doesn't look like they're an idiot, as they did manage to turn the vehicle towards me and managed to ricochet the second shot. Now, I unfortunately interrupt a reload there with this auto reloader, which means that I lose all of the progress, but I also lose the shell, the next shell. And unlike the heavy tanks, the Italian heavy tanks, you don't get any compensation for interrupting your reload. But unlike the heavy tanks, this tank also has good DPM, as that allows you to just do things that the Italian heavies can only dream of. Wargaming buffed the hell out of this vehicle when they effectively changed the way that auto reloaders worked. Previously, Italian medium tanks could use a gun rammer. When Wargaming nerfed the Italian medium tanks effectively by removing the gun rammer from auto reloaders, of course it's a premium tank and Wargaming can't be seen to nerfing premium tanks, so they compensated for the removal of the gun rammer on the Progetto 46 and gave it just a flat rate of fire increase. Now it's got 2000 base DPM if you're firing one shell at a time, which progressively gets worse and worse as you go into the magazine. But that catapulted this vehicle from being a very, very strong tank to just being a tank that now had awesome DPM to go with everything else. Or you could look at it as in it was just as good as it was before, but now it had 4 equipment slots. And 4 equipment slots in World of Tanks with equipment 2.0 means that you can just be so much more influential than you ever could. Those 4 equipment slots now mean that I can easily fit a turbocharger on this vehicle, and I can be using vertical stabilizers, and I'm actually choosing to use vents on this tank, because with an exceptionally skilled crew, as I have because I play this thing all the time in front line, and so My female crew member on this account might not be quite so good, but on my main account on the EU server, where I think I've got Gianluigi Buffon, I think he's packing something like 7 skills at this point. And so by dropping coated optics and using vents and having them in the slot, or even using bounty vents on the vehicle or bond vents, that's how much I play this tank when I'm in front line, then it just catapults the vehicle to just being this absolute god tier tank. Alright, so this game is starting to get rather close. We've got 3 tanks versus 6 momentarily. Shutting down the IS-6 now turns it into a 3 versus 5. But with the FV4-202 getting shut down by the Scorpion on the enemy team, it's now me and In Your 6 playing in the UDES 0-3 against the 5 vehicles on the enemy team. And spoilers, while this is from the previous patch where we don't have the ability to have health bars at the top of the screen, I can tell you that most of the enemy tanks are exceedingly healthy. We're going to have our work cut out for us. So I ask the UDES to not fall back all the way. I'm asking him to just hang around up there, and I'm letting the UDES know in chat that I'm going to spot them. Whenever you find yourself in this kind of a situation, clear-cut, efficient communication is key, because, you know, while we are going to make our last stand, and inevitably most last stands end up with you also being wrecked, but hopefully taking down a few of them along with you, maybe there's just a glimmer of a chance that we could actually be able to get through this one. We also have an SU-130PM on our team, who is dead, but Rockaphilly 2 is giving us some good recommendations that we should both do defense, and I do agree. I do agree, Rockaphilly, that defense would be the best plan here. So the Basante C45 spotted on a good chunk of hit points right out in the open. They're shooting at my UDES friend. I put a couple of shells in, and then I proceed to reload. Unfortunately, the UDES lost most of their hit points, and the UDES doesn't get hit by the Lerva there, which is great. But now this Lerva, they're not an idiot. They're going to actually sit here in this position behind the wreck of the Basante that we just created, and the Scorpion G unfortunately manages to catch me, removing 487 hit points. Those were the carry hit points that I needed, but I managed to put one in. Now I've got 1 shell left. I'd love to reload for a couple of seconds to be able to get the extra one in. Now there's less pressure on me, so we can take a chancy shot. Now the Lerva, seeing that I was preoccupied with the Scorpion, decided to get themselves out of harm's way, getting shot from the UDES above, and made a march forward. And instantly, me and the UDES have now completely changed this game around to going from a 2 versus 5 to now being in a 2 versus 2. Although we are now both one-shots. So the Scorpion G manages to find me. I managed to put a shot on them as they're crossing and lower them down to now being a one-shot. I don't want to hang around up on that slope for too long though, because the Indian Panzer has not been spotted for a while, and to all intents and purposes the Indian Panzer could be in the center, or they could be over on the east and they might be able to get a shot on me. And luckily it looks like I just re-stealthed. The Indian Panzer now gets lit up. Not sure if that was by me or the UDES. I take a chancy shot over the ridge line and begin to start to whittle down the tier 8 German medium tank who was spotted on full hit points. Still going to have to shoot them another 4 or 5 times to be able to shut them down, but the most important thing to do right now is to focus on the Scorpion. I come around the corner. I missed the first shot, but thank goodness I'm in an auto reloader with only a 2-second intra-clip reload, right? And that is where the Progetto is just so darn strong. By stacking up 3 shells, you can take chancy shots, and if you miss the first shot, you got that second one, or even the third one. And it's like that with low rolls as well. Are your opponents on 210 hit points, but you hit the almighty mother of low rolls for your 240 90mm alpha damage gun. That's okay, because you've got another one to back it up. So the Indian Panzer, venturing across, I'm going to make sure I try and control the spotting distance on the Indian Panzer, but I know in this kind of a situation with my camo rating that it's going to be very hard for them to spot me if they're on the move. The UDES hits them from above, and right now I am just feeling like, oh yeah, I'm happy that we changed this game from being a last stand where neither of us would have got through to instead being a glorious victory for both myself and In Your 6 in their UDES 0-3 on top of the hill. We created a great synergy here with some great crossfire. Thank goodness In Your 6 had the hit points to be able to sacrifice against the Basante and the Lerva earlier on in the game. Unfortunately for me, I'm playing the completely outrageous and just a flat out powered Progetto 46 to get through a situation which I thought was going to be definitely more of a last stand in this round of World of Tanks. So an ace tanker here for the 1,809 base experience that we received, a high caliber for that 5,230 damage, and a top gun for the 7 kills. And while we fired a good amount of gold ammunition, as this is a premium vehicle, yeah, I think we made a decent profit there because we fired mostly all of our standard rounds, right? And also a massive shout out to In Your Six in their UDES, who managed to finish second and second on experience and damage respectively. And more importantly, there was no way that we would have been able to get through this battle unless we did it together. And it's always really nice to get on the NA server and to see people like Rockophilly2 getting excited and getting behind their team in the chat as well, which is definitely the first thing that I always notice when I start my sessions on the NA server, is just how much more vocal you guys are, both in a good way but also sometimes in a bad way, and all of you NA server players will know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video in the first few days that it's released, I'm going to be streaming World of Tanks all weekend, and luckily I've got a load of drops enabled on the channel so you can get yourself a variety of premium consumables, or alternatively a special camo style for the Steel Hunter Season 2 finale. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you soon.